Hey, my loves. It's your visionary mompreneur here, Ashley Love, and I'm also the founder of the I Am Simply Beautiful global movement to empower women to love their bodies regardless of their size, shape, age, or skin color. And I want to welcome you to the Tainted Elegance Celebrate You TeleSummit, where we are going to have a fabulous time celebrating women everywhere. For the next 5 evenings, starting at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, you will hear from one or more of the phenomenal ladies who co-authored the Tainted Elegance Simply Beautiful 2 compilation book that is now available on Amazon. What a better way to celebrate Women's History Month than to honor those women who are making history, like the ladies you will hear during our time together, as well as you. As women, we often get so caught up in our daily lives and in caring for others that we fail to take time to love on ourselves. During this TeleSummit, I want you to love on yourself daily because you deserve it. If you're not a member of the official I Am Simply Beautiful Ladies group, head on over to Facebook and type in official I Am Simply Beautiful Ladies. And join the group because that is where you can connect directly to the speakers and network with other attendees. Tonight we will bring on the lovely Terri Campbell shortly, who will be sharing about how you are destined by God and how to live in confidence. I have a special treat tonight to kick off the celebration. My daughter, Phoenix Tolbert, who's 10 years old, is also a co-author, and she's going to be reading her contribution to the Tainted Elegance Simply Beautiful 2 book.
Thank you. It don't matter what they say. They see your imperfections, those things that make you not beautiful, that make you not perfect. They say mean things to crush your spirits and make you feel not worthy. They hit and scratch you to make you feel hurt. But it's not even the physical pain that is worse. They may not kill you physically, but they gradually destroy your self-worth. When all this happens, you feel destroyed. You don't even realize the damage it caused at that moment, but you start to think negatively. What do they see when they see me? Well, the answer to that question is that their opinion does not matter, but in that moment, you feel like you are the one that does not matter and that no one cares about you. You try to smile, but you are hurting on the inside. They are trying to make you feel bad, but the truth is that you are loved. Even those who act like they dislike you, it is because they are jealous of you. It doesn't matter what they see in you. What matters is what you see in you. It doesn't matter how they think you are on the outside, but it matters what you believe about yourself. You must believe you are strong, sweet, nice, and helpful. Smile. You are beautiful.
Thank you so much, baby. I'm very proud of you. Before I bring Terri on, I would like to share with you 3 quick tips to getting out of the funk you may be in and to stepping into your greatness. Number 1, I want you to ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen if you are going to take a step towards your greatness or your future? What is the worst that can happen? Because, see, it's very easy for us to get lost in these vague fears or these scenarios that we have going on in our heads of what might happen if you go through with something. But I want you to really ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen if you take this next step in your life, in your career? I want you to visualize that and get a clearer picture of those scenarios. And once you do that, you'll start to notice that a bit of that fear starts to vanish. And you'll discover that the potential consequences are seldom as frightening as you may have first thought. By doing this exercise, you're going to define the potential consequences and also discover that whatever that may happen, that you can manage it and you can recover from it. Number 2, I want you to try something new. You know, we get so caught up in our comfort zones and doing the same things over and over again. I know with 3 daughters, my life kind of gets routine sometimes. And I seem to wake up in the morning and live the same day over and over again. And I don't want that for you, because I've had to challenge myself to do the same thing, to expand my comfort zone so that I can gain confidence in my ability. And it's just amazing how many things that you'll be able to see that you can actually do. Those things that you're saying, maybe I can do that, I don't know. You'll be able to see that you can lessen your fears and you can live a life without barriers and without limitations. So I challenge each of you to try something new. Maria Shriver always said to do something every day that scares you, and that has been my model. Always trying something new, even if, like Allison Bird says, I have pee running down my leg. I'm going to try it, because you never know what you can accomplish if you don't try. And number 3 is to make a plan to do something and then follow through. And this, to me, is probably one of the most important things that I can tell you, and one of the most important ways that you can build confidence in your life. Because so many times we have this great plan. Oh, I want to accomplish this, before this amount of time. You got the whole thing written down and lines up of exactly what you want to do. And you have this great confidence about it that I'm going to do this. And then somewhere down the line you fall off. And so what I challenge you for this one is to pick back up wherever you are at on your journey. I want you to pick back up, take some kind of small action daily so that you can get big results. Because oftentimes we underestimate ourselves and our capability. And when you do this and you implement one or more of these tips, you're going to start to see your confidence soaring. And it's going to help you on your journey towards your vision and towards your purpose. Again, if you're not a member of the official I Am Simply Beautiful ladies group, please head over to Facebook and join the group. We'll accept you right away. And post any of your takeaways from tonight in the group. Network with the ladies, and you can even contact the speakers in there as well. Now I would like to bring on our special guest for the night. Terri Campbell resides in Westchester County, New York, with her husband, Alfred Jr., 3 children, Austin, Asia, Alina, and her beloved dog, Teddy. I love that name. She has 2 stepdaughters, Shireen and Lauren, who reside in New Jersey. She graduated from Elizabeth Seton College with a degree in business administration and continued her education in nursing and insurance. As a pianist, her love of music led her to start Cedar Pepper Publishing in 2007 to house her writings, catalog of compositions, lyrics, produce and arrange music, as well as manage up-and-coming artists. As a singer-songwriter, she worked over the years with 0 Hour Music, Belly House Records, Graceful Tunes, and Yellow Brick Road Productions, and performed as a background singer. She received an award for Cambridge Who's Who in Songwriting and is the author of the book, The Absorbent Soul, a collection of poetry and babblings, and also a co-author in Her Perspectives, How I Created Work-Life Balance. She has most recently started the Sonnet 27 project, which serves as a hub for charities. The motto for the project is Giving Seeds, Serve Living Needs, where you give up something minor to help others who are in need. She is a licensed nurse and spends her spare time working at a nursing home to care for the elderly. Her mission is to continue on with her music ministry and to inspire others to be compassionate and to be a force for positive change. I would like to welcome Tainted Elegance, Simply Beautiful to co-author Miss Terri Campbell. Are you there, Terri?
Yes, thank you, Ashley, for that lovely introduction. I just wanted to say to Phoenix, God bless you for your words. You have an awesome role model in your mom, and it's just great that you're part of this movement at such a young age. Good evening, everyone. I'm just happy to be on the call. And as Ashley stated, she introduced me, so there's no need for me to rehash that. I just wanted to say, if you want to add me on Facebook, if you have it, I'm Terri M. Campbell, or at Twitter at CedarPepper, which is CETAPEPPER, at CedarPepper. I'll just go right in since we lost a little bit of time. Because of my love of God and the Word of God as a direction for me, tonight my comments are faith-based, and I typically incorporate Scripture in decision-making in every area of my life, and I use it as a guide. So I just wanted to start off with that. If God is our creator, then he is our designer. So if you want to put hashtag God defines me, you could tag me in that also, hashtag God defines me. So many women look to society to physically define who they are based on what they see online or in the media, selfies, the perfect lips, the perfect hips, etc., but no one is perfect. So sometimes when someone insults us or they make a negative comment, that totally stays in our head and it messes with our self-esteem. It's important to develop self-esteem. It can be lacking really at any age, but it's one of the things that will help prevent you from feeling negative about yourself. Don't let a bad relationship ruin your self-esteem. We have to be on guard about that. Even bullies, they come in all shapes and sizes, and even so-called friends. You have to recognize when someone's insulting you, recognize those little jokes that are really meant to tear you down. Sometimes women allow other opinions of others, to be the mirror of who they should be. But no one else defines who we are, not our parents, not our boyfriends, siblings, friends, etc. So as far as outer beauty, God's desire for us. There are generations of handed-down distinction, sort of like a tribal legacy. So you should embrace your nose, your lips, your eyes, and our differences in appearance are what I call God's garden of beauty. So don't let anybody make you retract or be shy about what you look like. Or potential, you have way too much to offer to be inhibited based upon a negative image of yourself. So the question may be, how do I know who I am? So figuring that out, you know you are created and you're purposely designed by God. Knowing this, it sets you off in the right direction that you need to go. It's sort of like if you buy a new car, the manufacturer has a manual deliberately in your glove compartment to let you know what things you need to change, what you should look for, so you don't go through driving your car ignorantly. And in the same way, God is our designer. He gave us the inspired written word of God, and it's profitable for our correction. In 2 Timothy 3:16, it says in the New Living, it's useful to teach us what is true and realize what is wrong in our lives. So with that said, a very important scripture that is found in Psalms 139:14 is, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works. And I just want to read on page 7, simply Tainted Elegance, Part 2, on page 27, wonderful, marvelous, original, intended, like an artist with a brush and a note to a song, we are purposed. Before there was ever a cosmetics company or a hair product in a jar, we were in the plan of God, Earth's garden of people. Like the flowers, birds, and wonders of nature, we are already beautiful. We can get dolled up to feel pretty, sexy, and attractive, but let it come from a place of love of yourself and self-worth, because you know you're special. And anyone who doesn't recognize your individuality and makes you feel negative about your looks, I suggest you remove their toxic energy far from you. So no matter what you're going through, don't let anyone define your destiny, your opinion of yourself, or your vision. God does not make mistakes. You are not a mistake, regardless of how you came into this world, whether you were conceived by parents who were fighting, hateful, a night of drunkenness, if you're a foster child or adopted, whatever means that you've come into the world, you are willed by God, and your existence is solely through love. You're purposed by Him in love. And that is powerful. That is healing, that is validating, and it is inspiring. The force is pure love, and with that, your foundation, you can build anything on top of that. So when you think of your life, think of like a journey as a road. Along the way, we have our potholes, pitfalls, tragedies, and how do we overcome feeling less than? So don't focus on what someone else's opinion of you may be. Sometimes people are jealous, and sometimes they're envious. Other people's opinions are not your problem. It's their problem. Okay? And so you can't let that stress you. My personal belief is that the problems that we face and experience in life, those potholes and pitfalls, are the challenges that exercise the spirit. And I'm just going to get a little medical here for a second, but after a physical workout, when you go to the gym, your body has to repair itself. It replaces damaged muscle fibers through a process that it fuses the muscle fibers together to make new muscle strands. They're called myofibrils. Sorry, the nurse in me had to say that. But as you increase in thickness to create muscle, you have hypertrophy, which means it just gets big. That's why you see somebody buffed, built up. And the same way that you build your muscle through a process of affliction and repair and ending with strength, it's the same way that our problems become our internal fortitude. And it's what helps us gain our knowledge through adversity. So just remember that when we go through our problems in our life, which brings me to confidence. Confidence is the quality or the state of being certain. It's a consciousness of one's power. Being confident is a process. It isn't a goal, and it's not like an endpoint that you have to reach and stop. You just keep doing the best of your ability, and your confidence will always be there to support you. God hasn't given us the spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind in 2 Timothy 1:7. So there's actually a spirit of fear, and fear and confidence cannot exist in the same place. So we have to be confident and not conceited. And if you want to hashtag that, you could put hashtag confidence, not conceit. I apologize for my dog at the door. Someone's at the door, but it's okay. Hashtag confidence, not conceit. With that, God wants us also to be humble. If you think of confidence as a gas pedal, and humility is the brake. We accelerate, we're blessed, but at the same time, we have to remain in our place and not to think more highly than we ought to. In James 4:10, it says, humble yourself in the sight of the Lord, and He will lift you up. And in James 4:6, it says, He resisteth the proud and gives grace to the humble. So we have to be humble and not haughty. Confidence is just a tool that you can use to not second-guess yourself. It's used to accomplish things and the things that really matter to you. You have to, as women, recognize your own achievement. And even when God created the world, He said it was good when He was done. So it's okay to work hard and have self-esteem in your achievements. Because I wear many hats as a woman, which most women do. We're sisters, we're friends, we're wives. I'm a stepmother, a mother, grandmother. I'm also a servant of God. And all the experiences that comes with the abuses that I've experienced in my life are my spectrum of pain. And because of the spectrum of pain, it's created my path of purpose. And I'll repeat that again. My spectrum of pain has created my path of purpose. So don't permit anyone, and I say permit because we have to allow others to affect us in a negative way. Don't permit doubt, circumstances, bad decisions, or even toxic people to destroy your confidence. I tell my children all the time, no regrets. In situations are lessons in life that we learn what to do and what not to do. So what I have tonight is 5 tips to be more confident. Number 1, how to be more confident. The first thing is stop comparing. Stay focused on you. There's no reason to compare yourself with someone else's goals and dreams and how far they're going or what they're doing. It's great to have a sisterhood to encourage one another, but not as far as a comparison, because we're all unique. Number 2, relax. Go with the flow and don't stress about little things. Stress is not something that we should be going through. It affects our health in a negative way, and I have something to read about that in just a little second. Love yourself. That's number 3. Love yourself. You are a gift. Nothing would be the same if you didn't exist. There's no one who can take your place. Love yourself. Number 4, be positive and look for the good in every situation. Number 5, do what you love. Life is too short to waste your time doing anything otherwise. And I would like to just read something from the book Perspectives, one of the books I'm a part of, Without Stress. I just want to get back to that point. Stress will cloud your thoughts. Meditation, prayer, and worship are the brooms that sweep the clutter away. Perseverance is in your spirit. As women, we persevere. And it's the force behind the force. There's never been a calamity or instance that I did not have the need of God. Every illness, every death, every loss, every burden, I have personally depended on my faith, and every dark hour needs light, for only light dispels darkness. Many scientists and philosophers and educators may contest the existence of God, but even through their studies, they must admit we are made up of energy. Our connection to the main source is where our energy supply is sustained. Are there days when you feel that giving up is an option? Well, that's yes for me. Every day there is a potential for failure. Every day you're faced with possibilities that things may turn for the worse in whatever the circumstance. There will be challenges in every aspect of your life. You are bombarded daily with negativity and bad news, and you have to consciously choose to be positive. So my advice is to surround yourself with positive friends, positive quotes, positive movies, positive music, and this will gird you up like steel. It'll keep you strong. And last, encapsulate yourself, surround yourself in things that are warm, that actually warm your heart, and use your achievements, your compliments, your dreams to snuggle like a blanket. And that is from Perspectives. It's available on Amazon if you are interested in that book. I touched a little bit on outer beauty, and I wanted to go a little further, closer about inner beauty. There are many attributes that women forget about. You know, makeup is an external thing, but is your face done on the inside? Jealousy, for starters, it's not necessary. Women have to uplift one another. We have to admire one another and support one another. There is enough division in the world, and what we need is unification. You know, even if you look at the election process this year, there's so much ugliness and malcontent that, as we can see, a suit and a tie and cologne cannot mask the stench of a rotten heart. So with that in mind, we need sisterhood. We need brotherhood. We don't need arrogance. We don't need anger. We don't need bitterness. And there's a scripture that comes to mind about in Hebrews 12:15, to let not bitterness take root and spring up. Bitterness can take root in you. It is something, and I'm talking about inner beauty right now. Bitterness can take root in you. It can become a tree. It can block your blessings. And it's not something that you can easily get rid of. So it's important to not let it take root. It's not easy to eliminate resentment, especially if you've been cheated on or you've been let down or hurt by a spouse or loved ones. But the inner beauty of compassion, kindness, forgiveness, a tender heart, these are the things that strengthen you and as well as allow beauty to radiate from the inside out. As a mother, And even if you're not a mother and you're an auntie or you have the privilege to raise and support young girls, there's certain affirmations that can help build them up. Some of them I wrote, some of them aren't. There's just 7 of them here. Number 1, kindness is not weakness. And that's a cliche. I didn't write that one, but we hear it all the time. Kindness is not weakness. So it's okay to be kind. Doesn't mean that you're weak. It actually means that you're stronger. Number 2, I wrote this one for my girls. Authenticity is the greatest cosmetic of the soul. Be you. No one else can do it better than you can. Just be you. Number 3, I mentioned earlier, confidence, not conceit. Number 4, be humble, not haughty. Number 5, compassion is the key to the lock of the heart. Compassion is not a weakness. Too many times, this is one of the things that, unfortunately, we're seeing not a lot of lately in the media, but as individuals and as women and as rearers of children, these are things we should instill in them because they are important to society and we are nurturers by nature, and these are the things that make women beautiful also from the inside out. Number 6, be the change you want to see in the world. Number 7, this is one that I wrote, commitment is a road paved solely with integrity. Commitment is a road paved solely with integrity. So at the start of your day to the end of the next day, it's all about love. This is another inner beauty moment here. It's all about love. 1 John 4:8 says, he that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. And so that's one of the things that I like to keep at the forefront of my mind when I am going about and as I deal with raising my children and just as being a woman. Love, God is love. And so this is something that we have to strive to have in our lives and give to others. I'd like to also just read a poem here, sort of an homage to women, called The Elegant Rose. The Elegant Rose. Mulatto's beauty who glides with grace, your passive ways, your pleasant face, a voice so sweet it soothes the soul, a dainty songbird who warms the cold. When times are rough, you press right on, a quiet fervor stable and strong. You're a gentle breeze that fills the air, a musical piece of loving care, serving Christ with gifted splendor, God-crafted gem, patient and tender. Within the garden that he chose, you are an elegant, thornless rose. Miss Ashley, thank you for your time.
If I could find myself, I got how to get myself off mute. That was phenomenal. Phenomenal. Thank you so much, Terri. You just poured into my soul. I wanted to ask you a few questions. First off, we're in Women's History Month, and I wanted to ask you, what would you say is the most inspirational woman in your life, or who's touched you the most, and why?
I have to start off, there's been many great women in my life, I have to admit that, but most and foremost, my mom. I think for most people who are blessed to have good mothers, my mother was a woman who, she came from Jamaica. She was an immigrant here, and she was an orphan, which I didn't even know. Most of my life I didn't find that out until I was an adult. And she loved her mom, but her mom passed away when she was young, and so did her dad, I think under the age of 12. And so she pretty much had to raise herself, and she came to this country all by herself, and she was a teacher in Jamaica and educated there, but when she got here, she couldn't do that. and she had to take work that, was not beneath her, but it was just what was accepted at that time to watch children and things of that nature. So I've watched. She was a very intelligent woman, strong, sacrificial. She wasn't affectionate, which made me understand her better when I realized she was an orphan, that she wasn't the huggy type, because I love hugs and kisses. So she wasn't like that, but she was very spiritual and a great mother and independent. She taught me determination. She taught me a relationship with God. And because of who she was, she helped me become the mother that I am, a fierce defender of her children, like a bear with her cubs. And that was one of the things I really loved about her. And always quick to help other people. It didn't matter who it was. She was always there. I remember one time when she retired, she became a pastor's secretary for many years, and then she retired. And when she would watch young children for rich couples in Westchester County, New York, because that's where I'm from. And one day I was really upset, and because I went to pick her up, and she said, "I'll be right out, I'm washing dishes." And I was like, "Why are you washing their dishes? You weren't hired for that." And she said, "I do it because I want to do it." And at that point, she taught me about giving. It doesn't matter. It's not beneath you. You can give to others. She wanted to help the mother of that child because she was working all day, and she felt it would help her. It wasn't that it was beneath her or belittled her. It was her spirit of giving. And so because of that, it's taught me to try to give and help others. A famous godmother in my head was Maya Angelou. I felt she was like a kindred spirit for me. Her aspect in writing, her depth, her viewpoint of the world, it just helped me tremendously when I was a teenager and I read I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. It had a big influence on my life. As a woman of color, to see her as a poet on the national front, and just her emotional genius was unparalleled. I really admired her, and it's a great loss. And thank God we have her writings to continue on. And lastly, I would say all the other women that I respected and admired in church that influenced me growing up, they taught me the importance of marriage, commitment, faithfulness, servitude, and I call them my villagers. When I was a teenager, one of the mothers of the church told me, "Never start to do something you don't want to do. Once it is expected of you, you won't be able to change it." And she was referring to relationships. And when I was young, I didn't understand it, but as I grew up into an adult, I understood exactly what she was saying. And so because of that knowledge, I can now teach my daughters while they're dating and they're looking, to meet someone, and give them, little sound advice and tidbits. And I appreciate all the women in my life, and especially their strength. My mother-in-law, I've been married for 26 years. And my mother-in-law she passed away 2 years ago, but she was also a wonderful woman, sacrificial, giving, a very strong, resilient woman in the Word of God, and faithful, very faithful. And she was also a giver. So I've been really blessed with people in my life that have been giving to me, and I just thank God that I can even pass that along in any kind of way to others. So,
and that's amazing that you've had so many phenomenal women around you. I mean, you just named so many amazing women, and that's awesome. And all the sacrifices that your mom made, and just her really teaching you to give. I don't think these days that we want, but a lot of times we don't give enough. We're not willing to sacrifice and to give of ourselves before or even without the intention of receiving anything in return. And so that was such an amazing point that you brought up, and that she instilled in you. And you are a phenomenal woman.
Oh, thank you so much, Miss Ashley. And thank you for letting me be a part of the I Am Simply Beautiful movement. I think it's great what you're doing, and it's taken off, and I'm so proud of you and grateful that I've been involved since the first book. Thank you very much.
Oh, no, thank you so much. you know, it really took me stepping outside of my own comfort zone to do all of this. And I've grown so much in the process. Like I talked about earlier, you know, really taking that leap of doing things that I really wasn't sure that I could do or that I even wanted to do. I mean, I knew I wanted to empower women. I didn't know how. It was kind of like, I always say this was my God-given purpose, because it's not the purpose I would have chosen. I would have chosen to be behind the scenes and all of that, but God put me on the forefront. And I can only, you know, thank him a million times for giving me that opportunity. So, and I thank you and so many others that are supporting the movement. You know, I can't do everything myself, so to have so many amazing women that are like, hey, we want to be a part of this. You know, we want to help your vision and your mission reach the world. And so I just, you know, I thank you and I thank everybody else that's supporting it.
Oh, you're very welcome. And if I could just add one thing that I actually meant to say about business, because when I started my business, I went through a lot of valuable lessons. And one of the things was be encouraged. Be encouraged. And that's for you to be encouraged, because the mistakes we make along the way serve as teaching moments, and it's not a reflection on us as a person. Failures are not reflections. They're just steps up the ladder, step up your personal ladder. So failures are not reflections, but steps up your personal ladder. So for anyone out there who is, you know, an entrepreneur or thinking of starting a business, so that was the last
thing I wanted
to add.
I absolutely love that, because I think one of the reasons why we don't take that next step, like I talked about earlier, is because we're worried about failure. You know, what is going to feel like, what's going to happen, you know, and are people going to laugh at me if it goes wrong? You know, am I going to lose money? And it's just like, you know, you have to take that step. And like you said, it's just, you know, a step on your journey. And you learn from it. And you know, push forward. And so that is awesome advice. I wanted to ask you, what would you hope to give women, or for women to get from your chapter in the Tainted Elegance, Simply Beautiful 2 books?
I really want everyone to feel that they're unique. You know, everybody is special. If you have you have 3 girls, so you know what I mean. When you gave birth to each child, how would it have seemed if they all looked exactly the same? But the excitement that they were all different, and that you noticed that this one's ears look like this, or this one's nose looks like that. And my kids, they talk to me all the time, like, stop staring at me, Mom. But they don't understand that there's a beauty to the uniqueness of each one of them. And I love that about God. I think that's awesome. And I think that too many times we want to be so much alike. We want to look like the girl on Instagram or the, you know, the celebrity that we see on TV, get our hair done like that, or we're going to do this. But we're beautiful all by ourselves. And it's okay to get dressed up and look good. And, you know, I've done it. But I just feel that, you know, we have to embrace ourselves, empower yourself, because otherwise someone else is going to tear you down. You have to have that strength. I've had people make comments about my lips. I just give you a quick example. I remember growing up, I was so, like, ashamed of my lips. I thought I had the biggest lips on the earth. My brother would tease me. It was just, you know, I went to school. I remember someone wrote in my yearbook, this guy who I've known from like 4 years old, he writes in my yearbook, oh, you'd be so pretty if it wasn't for those big blank lips, and I won't even say the word he used. And I had to throw my yearbook away because, I blotted it out, and eventually I ended up throwing it away. But it hurt me so bad. And I realized that maybe about a year after that incident, some guy that I was dating said to me, I just love your lips. They're so luscious. And it's amazing how one compliment completely turned my whole perspective around. You know, I grew up, my head my lips grew into the size of my head, and there was nothing wrong with my lips. But I find a lot of times young girls, they don't appreciate themselves. They don't appreciate their beauty. They have cosmetic surgery way too young, and we change. We change, and like I think God doesn't make mistakes. So I just want women to be empowered and to really understand that. I think it's a very powerful to know that you are in existence because of the love of God, and it wasn't that you're here by an accident. So that's what was my chapter and my focus.
That is amazing. And if y'all are interested in going to get the book, you can go to IAmSimplyBeautiful.com, or you can go to Amazon and look up Tainted Elegance, Simply Beautiful too. But, even off of what you just said, it kind of sparked something into me to why I created the I Am Simply Beautiful movement. Back in the day when I was younger, I was always picked on for I was always the bigger girl. I developed faster than everyone else, and back in the day, people were just cruel. And so for many years, that really kind of put a damper on my confidence. It led me into bad relationships because all I was wanting was that what I thought was a man's love was really what I needed was self-love and accepting myself. But it led me into bad relationships and stuff like that. And how I ended up creating the I Am Simply Beautiful movement is I realized that what you put out there over and over again is what you eventually believe. So like what you said, if you hear something over and over again, your lips are big, you're too big, you're bigger than everybody else. Whatever it is, there's that one thing that, and every one of you out there knows what it is that people have told you, and it kind of gets implanted in your head. And it takes you, either someone else telling you or you really sitting down and digging deep and saying, okay, you know what, I've got to change this. I've got to change this thought process because I can't live like this anymore. And my thing was, I'm going to tell myself over and over again that I'm beautiful. Whether I believe it or not, I'm going to keep telling myself until I eventually do believe it. And that's how the movement started, was if a woman can actually look at herself, taking the selfie, and say, I am simply beautiful, declaring it into the world, whether she believes it or not, she's putting it out there. And when she continues to do it over and over again, one day she's going to believe it. And each time she does it, her confidence is going to bloom. So that kind of got me, what you said kind of got me off on that, because that was why I created the movement, is to get those icky negative thoughts or, negative things that people put into our subconscious mind and we believe, to kind of erase them and to start fresh. And so I love that. Of what you just said.
You become a role model. You become a role model on a global level to others, and people admire you, and that's great. And just like I said earlier, the spectrum of pain has become your path of purpose. And so no one run from, your pain. That's something you have to embrace and find out why we feel that way. And you're pushed sometimes in a direction to do something